What's up, snappers? Welcome back to the channel. Drewski here. Today we're gonna be looking at the brand new card, Viv Vision, to see if she's worth your precious resources. We're gonna be looking at her keys, Synergies Counters, and some decks that I brewed for her. But wait, before we do that, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I do weekly reviews of the brand new card in Marvel SNAP, so if you don't want to miss out, hit that notification bell right now. So let's get back into it. Pardon the interruption, but I need to address the elephant in the room, the reasons why I've not been able to upload as many videos as I've been wanting to for this channel. I've been dealing with health issues, including my teeth. I get a tooth extracted from my teeth, which really sucks, but everything's okay now. But I've been dealing with that. And just the health of Marvel SNAP. I have not been enjoying this game, unfortunately, for the past few months because of the super premium pass card that they've been including in the season pass. I have been not enjoying that, and I have not been enjoying just the monetization overall in the game. So many bundles, so many reasons of asking for money from the community. So I particularly am not of a fan, and I am just kind of fed up, honestly. Right now, I'm just doing the missions in the game. I'm not really doing a lot of grinding per se. And I think the community kind of agrees with me where Marvel SNAP is at right now. So we will see what happens with the future of this channel. If I am closing the curtains, I will let you guys know. But right now, I'll try my best to stay as optimistic as possible, and we will see how things go for Marvel SNAP and this channel. So thank you guys again for your patience, and hopefully see you around on this channel or anywhere on my social media platform. I forgot to mention I'm running another giveaway for PAX Bundles. If you want to enter in the giveaway, follow the instructions in the description below, and good luck to everyone that's entering in the giveaway. Now let's get back to the video. Now the question is, who is Viv Vision? Let's take a look. So Viv Vision is a 3-cost, 2-power card with the ability of, at the start of each turn, give all your cards in hand +1 power if you're winning here. Otherwise, move this to another location. So I believe that she has the immense power to grow the power of the cards in your hand. I feel like she actually works with Galactus First Steps, which I feel is very interesting. She could work with Silver Surfer as well, being a 3-cost card. She does have the pitfall of going to a location that you don't want her to go to, or she could gain you a lot of power in a location that's very hard for your opponent to get. So there are some positive and benefits that we will explain in later in the video. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons of Viv Vision. So the first pro that I want to talk about is that it avoids the end of turn counters since she's a start of turn card. I think that her ability is going to be kind of hard to counter because there's not technically a card that stops the start of turn. Obviously there's cards like Red Guardian that can counter her, but more than likely she should be okay from counters. Even Ghost, the brand new reworked Ghost, cannot counter this card. Another pro about her is that she moves to another location for you. You don't have to manually move her, which is pretty nice. And if you're losing a location, then she moves. The last pro that I want to talk about is that it's hard for your opponent to figure out the power in hand. More than likely, your opponent will not be able to see the power that's been given to the cards that are from Viv Vision. Obviously, they're going to be able to see the power that's been given on the board, but in the hand, it's kind of nice that your opponent does not know the power given to which cards. Now let's talk about the cons. It requires a constant stacking of the lane. With this type of card, you definitely want to keep stacking cards in that lane. Unfortunately, maybe sometimes you might have to fill up that lane, but hopefully you have a card that generates more power in that lane, so you don't have to fully commit into that lane. But it's a huge con that you might have to fill up that lane before the game is over. The next con that I want to talk about is that it can move to a location that you don't want it to be at, right? You don't have the control of being able to move Viv Vision, so you definitely have to be worried on making sure that she goes to a certain location. And unfortunately, a lot of those cards that do move on their own is not really reliable in Snap, so we will see how she pans out. The last con that I want to talk about is that it has to be on the board and possible dead late draw. To really capitalize on her ability, she has to be on the board. She doesn't really do her ability in hand or in the deck, from what I know. And especially if you draw her in the late turns, then she's not really going to do anything for you because it affects cards in your hand and not on the board. Now let's take a look at the keys, Synergies, and Counters for Viv Vision. So of course, Viv Vision works very well with Silver Surfer, 3-cost cards. Silver Surfer loves. Galactus First Steps is another great synergy with Viv Vision because they definitely want that power in that lane, and they want you to be winning that power in that lane. So Galactus First Steps, very good synergy with her. Storm is another great synergy with Viv Vision because potentially you could storm out that lane, have Viv Vision in that lane, and then keep getting that power in your hand. Now let's talk about the counters. Red Guardian, like I mentioned, can counter this card because it's a start of turn and it's a low power card. So more than likely Red Guardian can definitely hit this card. Mercury is another great counter against Viv Vision. Of course, she will stop that movement from Viv Vision at the start of the turn. So you have to be careful of Mercury. Scream is another great shout of a counter for Viv Vision because she'll be stealing that power whenever Viv Vision moves. Now let's take a look at the decks that I brewed. I think they're pretty fun and competitive. Let's take a look. So the first deck that we have is called Silver Visions. This is my iteration of the Silver Surfer archetype that I believe Viv Vision will work in very well. This is my take on blending the move with Silver Surfer archetype. Batroc is an amazing addition to this list, especially with all the movement that's happening. He will follow the card that's been moved and start gaining that power. Madam Web, Kraven, Zorn, and Hercules are my considerations for cards that you definitely want to put on the board on separate lanes. Start moving cards into their lanes or play cards into their lanes to start generating all that movement power. Zorn is great in this list because you can throw in cards like Human Torch into his lane and then have some movement and then potentially have that card land on the Madam Web, Kraven, or Hercules lane. Silk is awesome in this list because she can generate power for your list for cards like Hydra Stomper and Kraven. Hydra Stomper is awesome to just start gaining all that power from all the movement that's happening with this deck. Red Guardians are our only tech card in this list. You definitely want to use them to counter cards like Mercury and Scream. Silver Server is just a great finisher with all the 3-cost cards in this list. We have a lot of them, so they're definitely going to get that +2 power. With all the movement that's happening with this list, Miles Morales will definitely become a 1-cost card. Now let's take a look at my second list. Now this list is called Galactus Vision. This is my take on the Galactus First Steps archetype with Viv Vision. I believe both of them should work very well together. I know this list is including the Mercury and Cannonball combo. Even after the nerf, I think the combo should definitely be fine. So I've included Hydra Bob and Black Cat to work well with Galactus First Steps, getting that early power on the board and then start generating that power for Galactus First Steps. And both of them are great options to have on that lane that you want to win with Viv Vision. Surge and Mr. Fantastic are great options just to start discounting cards and adding power to them. Mercury and Cannonball, like I mentioned, is a great pairing, and obviously it works well with this type of list because you want to be winning a location with those two type of cards. Iron Patriot is more of a flex card in this list. Getting a really good 4, 5, or 6-cost card could be very valuable with this type of list. Viv Vision, I believe, will work well in this list because there's going to be a lot of power on the board, and more than likely you should be able to win certain locations. If you're not, then she'll just move. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is awesome with this style of lists when you're trying to win a location. You could use her as a follow-up when you're definitely trying to win a location for Viv Vision. Gwenpool is here to just generate more power for all the other cards in this list, including Viv Vision. Cosmic Ghost Rider is our tech flex spot, so it depends on if you like to play him, or you can even run a card like the Fallen One or any good value 5-cost card, but his tech ability is pretty good with this type of list. Now let's take a look at my third and final list. Now this list is called Controlled Vision. This is my take on the control style list, adding some pixie magic to it, and Viv Vision I think will work well in this type of control style of list. Nebula and Ebony Maw are great cards just to start powering up a certain lane that you want to win. Nico is here for her move spell or to add more power to the list or to get a demon. Pixie and Mobius are definitely our spicy additions of this list. If you can high roll some of the 6-cost cards or the 5-cost cards to a lower cost like the 1-cost, then Pixie value is up the roof. Storm works very well with War Machine, Legion, Ebony Maw, and Infinite. We've seen this before. You could get into that lane potentially with Dr. Doom. Even with Viv Vision, if you're not winning that lane, she can move out of the Storm lane. Both of the Dr. Doom and Doom 2099 are great in this list because you can get to the Storm lane with those Doom bots. Legion is our mean card in this list. You can lock out your opponent and even yourself, but you more than likely want to have War Machine on the board before you do Legion so you can get into those lanes. Now let's take a look at the community predictions for Viv Vision. So the community has said S tier 29%, A tier 53%, B tier 14%, and C tier 3%. So the community overall believes that Viv Vision is a tier card. Here is a community review of Viv Vision from King Holtz. Thank you again for your review. They said, believe in this one. Definitely better than Galactus First Steps, which is weird because she pairs well with him. LOL. So I agree with this statement 100%. I believe that she has the potential to be better. She's definitely more flexible than Galactus First Steps, and you can definitely use him as a finisher in the deck like I brewed, or I'm sure someone else might come up with something better, but they definitely have a good pairing of partnership together. Now let's take a look at the star ratings I gave for Viv Vision. So for competitive, I gave her a 4 out of 5 stars. I believe that she will be very competitive in Marvel Snap. She works well with a lot of meta cards like Silver Surfer, Galactus First Steps. So she definitely has the potential, and she's pretty good in a way with getting power in the hand. I think that's very powerful in Marvel Snap. For fun, I gave her 4.5 stars. I believe the movement is very fun. Growing power in your hand is very fun. So I think the fun factor of this card is through the roof. Flexibility, 4 out of 5 stars. You saw the decks that I brewed. I think it's pretty flexible, right? There's a lot of different combinations you can do. For future changes, I gave her a 2.5 stars. I believe that she's fairly balanced. There is a lot of steps where you do have to be winning a certain lane, so it's not always a guarantee that that power in the hand is going to happen for this card. So I would say it's fair that this card should be safe from any changes. And if anything, it'll be a nerf. I don't think there's going to be a buff for this card. Maybe if it's underwhelming, then maybe there might be a buff to her stats. Maybe she's a 3/3 potentially. But if anything, I don't really see a lot of changes with this card, so you should be safe if you really want her. So now let's take a look at my final review of Viv Vision. Is she worth a snapper skip? Let's take a look. So since Viv Vision is a season pass card, I'm just going to give my overall review and rating of this card. So I'm going to be giving her a 4 out of 5 stars. So she is definitely worth a snap, especially that she's a season pass card. The season pass card obviously brings a lot of resources value with this card, and I believe that season pass cards that are flexible are very good in Marvel Snap. So I think it's definitely worth picking up this card if you enjoy this type of archetype that's flexible in power and grows in power. Obviously, it really depends on your level of how much you play Marvel Snap, especially these days. Hopefully you still play this game and enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, then definitely go ahead and support the game and get the season pass. I think it's definitely worth it for the resource value and this card in general. So what are your thoughts on this card? Am I completely wrong? Did I miss any synergies? Did I miss any decks that she works well with? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, please give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel. I would love for you to be a part of this amazing community here on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next Sniper Skip. Happy snapping.